Welcome today. Thank you for watching this HESS Consortium overview of architectural vision, concepts, and planning. My name is Keith Folks, and I am Chief Information Officer at Center College, and I'm also the co-chair for the HESS Consortium Systems and Services Committee, along with Carol Smith from DePaul University. Initially, the concept comes from most of our institutions, especially private colleges or universities, are individual single on-premise systems. So many of us have the same vendor for administrative software, whether it be Genzabar, Ellucian, Oracle, Workday, whatever you use. And we all use generally the same group of modules: finance module, admissions, student portal, student life, student system. Those things are all fairly common to our institutions, but they also individually add up to lots of costs: licensing costs, maintenance costs, programming costs, consulting costs, and especially hardware costs and data center costs that we all pay for, and in addition to that, disaster recovery costs. So what the idea, at least in phase one of the HESS Consortium planning, is group software pricing agreements. Taking these individual on-premise sites and allowing those individual schools to collaborate together, combine their FTE numbers, and go to vendors and negotiate pricing based on their collective FTE numbers of students. Now, we know that all institutions are not alike. We're not talking about bringing all those institutions into one system. We're talking about single on-premise systems in this phase. But we do know that there are similarities across our institutions, and we have similar needs for business processes and operational structures. So the HESS Consortium partner institutions will be able to collaborate as a cohort group to negotiate with their vendor of choice on pricing and services. And in addition to that, the difference between the HESS Consortium and other consortiums is that we will work with all major vendors, such as Ellucian, Genzabar, Oracle, Campus Management, those types of things, and all of their individual products. So why is that important? That is important because we will provide, and I will show this in a future slide, how we will provide a standardized way for these vendors to communicate their pricing structures to us. So individual member institutions will be able to look at the pricing structure, look at the layout of what they're offering, and be able to evaluate on a more apples-to-apples basis what systems are out there, what they provide, and how much they cost. So we also believe that this will increase networking between the individual cohorts. I use that term because I don't have a better one. These cohorts of Ellucian colleague customers, or Genzabar EX, or Genzabar JX, or Workday, or Oracle customers. These groups will go in together and form special pricing agreements through the HESS Consortium, and they will enjoy better pricing and better service, hopefully. So each one of these individual cohorts or the HESS Consortium within these cohorts will be able to ask each individual vendor to fill out an annual standardized form for pricing agreement and also for product layout. What this does, as I've mentioned previously, is gives the individual member schools a much better way to evaluate products. If you're an Ellucian colleague and you're wondering what the pricing might be or pricing advantages might be for Genzabar JX or another package, then you can actually go and look at the catalog that we provide, and go through and look on an apples-to-apples basis what features are there for each individual product, and also what the pricing is for that product. So phase 2 of this is a hosted software as a service model. Many of our institutions I know are a little skittish about this, but I believe that the approach that we're taking might make this a lot easier, but this is in phase 2. So a similar process would be done in negotiating prices for individual user groups or cohorts. For software as a service or cloud approach to using administrative software in your campus. So much as phase 1 was, we will hope to group schools into cohorts, and we will hope that they use similar modules, possibly different modules in some instances, but similar modules. They will also go in together as an FTE groups, and they will use a multi-instance, not a multi-tenant, but a multi-instance software approach where institutions have more flexibility to create and share customizations or in this case configurations of their systems to blend with their campus identities better. Now, this is not sharing systems. This is using a multi-instance software approach where the individual institutions will connect to a vendor solution in the cloud. It may be Amazon or Campus EAI cloud services. They'll connect into a centralized application management environment, a virtual environment. They'll be able to get to their software. They'll be able to customize or configure that software as they see fit. The vendor themselves will be able to coordinate updates, patches, and other software maintenance that's necessary in the cloud. And each individual school will have their own copy, as so to speak, in the cloud of their software. And each individual campus will also have their own separate database instances. Many institutions feel a little skittish about having their institution's information on the same server or site with another. This separate database instance will keep all of their data separated. It will keep it secure so that their data is not commingled or shared outside of their individual institution. This also gives a good model in that all backup, all disaster recovery or business continuity operations would be done in the cloud also by the vendor, and that will reduce costs and increase time that your staff can spend with users and support. So the idea with this is also multi-instance and multi-vendor solutions. So in this situation, this would be a Gensbar EX HESS cloud. I don't know any other way to explain that other than using a HESS cloud. And the HESS cloud would be on a vendor basis, and we would have multiple clouds that would be associated with the consortium with multiple schools being connected into each one of the clouds as a collaborative agreement. But as you can see here with the API linkages, the clouds will also be able to connect out to other cloud solutions, such as if the Gensbar JX HESS cloud wanted one or two of the schools or more wanted to use Salesforce in their admissions operation, they could do that through an API linkage between those clouds. And we would try and make sure that those vendors standardize that API solution. So the idea of hosted software as a service is centralized application management by the vendor, virtual server environment, but multi-instance, so that the application environment and also the database environment are not commingled with other institutions' systems, data, or customizations. So just to kind of go back over this, phase 1 is software pricing, purchasing agreements within cohorts, individual single instance on-site, on-premise solutions that would lower costs and increase services within that cohort. And we would have multiple vendors within these cohorts. And in addition to that, phase 2 would be the hosted software as a service, multi-instance software, cloud-based approach where institutions have the flexibility to customize or configure their new software unique to their campuses, and also their information would be secure and not commingled with other institutions. So what's special about this? So the idea is that in both of these phase 1, phase 2, in both of these approaches, we will be able, in the multi-vendor approach to the consortium, we'll be able to allow the vendors to compete on a more of a one-to-one, head-to-head basis. So if School A is using a Genzabar product or an Ellucian product, and they want to see the features and the pricing for another product, another maybe Genzabar, maybe Workday, maybe Koali, and they want to look at another product and see how their product stacks up, they will be able to compete. The vendors will be able to compete on more of a head-to-head basis, and the individual schools will be able to compare on a much, much better playing ground as if they could than they could on their own. Because of the multi-vendor approach, we believe that both phase 1 and phase 2 will benefit in lower pricing and allow those vendor solutions. And many of these vendors have multiple solutions. They'll be able to have better access to customers and show what they can do and their product can do better to our members. And our members, most of all, will be able to price and evaluate the vendor solutions on a better basis, on a more apples-to-apples basis. And if they want to stay where they are, they can always stay where they are within the phase 1 or phase 2 groups, and they should all see better pricing, better services, and better networking between the HESS individual cohorts and across cohorts, I believe. So that concludes the overview of the HESS Consortium vision, concepts, and planning for the architectural makeup of the consortium. If you have any questions, you can always email me at keith.folks@center.edu. That's keith.folks@center.edu, or you can go to www.hessconsortium.org and you can connect up with us through the website. Thanks so much and have a great day.